So pushing on. Here it goes. Two to 4 years before leaving the service. What to do, and it's um, and I'm going to share what happened to me when I was. So I went into the Marine Corps as an infantryman. Oh 311, you made it. If you've watched Full Metal Jacket, I think he said 0300. Senior drill instructor Gunnery Sergeant Hartman said to Private Pyle, 0300, you made it. I think, and if you're not in the Marine Corps, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, or if you are in the Marine Corps, you know what I'm talking about. And if you weren't, you aren't. That's what he meant. Anyway, so I was an infantryman for 4 years. And when I went in 1990, dang, late 1900s, not 1890, it was 1990. I went in, 18 years old, single, and you fast forward 4 years till I was married, had a baby girl, young daughter, and so the stakes were higher for me when I got out than when I went in, and me and my freaking plans, man, like, I was gonna be an Oregon State Trooper, and I'm originally from San Diego, California, man, so. And my wife's from Oregon, so I was like, "Hey, I can be a state trooper in '94." So that was my plan, right? And what I didn't know is, I applied for the job, did the physical fitness, and I did like a soft background check. Came out good, miraculously came out good on that background. And come to find out, we did a oral interview, and there was like 600 applicants for three positions, extremely competitive. And after the interview, it was a sergeant in the Oregon State Trooper. He like pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey, you're young." Well, at the time, yeah, young. Go to school, get some life experience, and come back. He said, "The people that are going to get this job, these three positions, we have um, already sheriffs, already have city police, people that are already police officers that are gonna most likely get those positions. They have that over you experience." And so, and that was my plan. That was my entire plan. Like the last 6 months of when I was in the Marine Corps, like, I'm gonna be a state trooper, blah 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 blah. And then when it didn't happen, like, it's like my balloon, like they punctured it, right? And like I did like any other young dad and husband would do in those circumstances when the thing that they've been planning for doesn't come to fruition. Yo, I panicked. I was like, "Oh crap!" Um, so I was very, yeah, I was, yeah, I went to straight panic mode, and so I say all that to say this: in that 2 to 4 years before leaving the service, right here's and I wish I had older me. Well, the thing I would do is tell younger me, like, bro, get it together right here. So choose your career. What is it, right? And see, I didn't use choose your job, because a career and a job, I believe they're different. A career, and then you got to look at the labor bureau statistics, right? That so what jobs are going to be hot? What jobs aren't going to be taken by AI, which is very few, in the next 10, 20 years. But the jobs that are up and coming, or not necessarily the ones you enjoy, right? Like, they could, don't get me wrong. Like, I wish I could get paid for, you know, eating tacos all day, but I ain't gonna get paid, doing that. I enjoy it. I don't eat as many as I want to, but I enjoy it. And so just choose your career. And then when you choose that career, what education and training do you need? Now, one of the things that I would lean forward before, and here it is, 2 years before you get out, right? So if there's a if there's training opportunity or education, jump on it, right? Um, Make sure that you get yourself as much certifications or training as you can before getting out. It's all going to help, right? Now get into the resume building and all that stuff, or what you need to do to down below. But right, just pick a school, right? Pick a training where you're going to live at, right? Which is next. Oh, here's a big one. Oh goodness, pay off debt. Don't get into new debt. So there's just so much debt right now. Everything's over at all time highs, right? The four big things: mortgage, $10.5 trillion, if I remember correctly. Student loans, all time high, over $1 trillion. Credit card debt, over $1 trillion, all time high. It's like 1.2, whatever it is. And car loans, over a trillion, all time high. So Americans in general, in the aggregate, are big time into debt, right? And so when you see that on logos and stickers and whatever is defending freedom, right? That's what the people in the military defending freedom on freedom's frontier. However, one thing that I don't think is talked enough about is financial freedom, and what that gives you is it could be a little less picky on what job you take. You say, you know what, I really don't need this job. You have that flexibility, that latitude, to be more selective. And when I wake up and go to work, because I still work, right? I drive into close to the city of Seattle. I live in Washington State, and I see a bunch of people going to work in the morning, and I leave early. And sometimes I think to myself, like, man, how many of these people either want to go to work, need to go to work, have to go to work? So, I mean, I see these nice cars, man. I drive a 2007 Acura RDX that I bought from good friends, the Andersons, and they're stationed in Hawaii, and they're probably not watching this, but thank you for the car, it's still going. So, dude, I bought it for $5,000. I bought it like 3 years ago, right? I got, yeah, I could get a really nice car. I see some of these 3/4 ton, really nice trucks, um, these, Lexus and all these really nice vehicles, and they're just driving to work, and I'm getting to work too, just fine in my little RDX. So don't get into new debt and pay off your new debt, or I'm sorry, don't get into new debt and pay off your existing debt. I'm just telling you, you don't want to get out not knowing where you're going to work if you have a job, and maybe you do. I'm just saying, like, look, I have a $700 car payment. Let's just say I don't, but I'm saying $700 car payment. I have, $500 in credit card debt. I have another $500 in $500 bill in another car. Oh, and also have a $300 phone bill. Whatever, right? So that debt accumulating, right, and it really, debt to income ratio, right? So that's also plays if you want to buy a house, right? That automatically knocks you down lower in the loan that you can get, right? So don't get into debt. I know that was really long, but where will you live? So I don't know, man. What's the hotness right now? I know the West Coast was a hotness for a while, Texas and Florida, and moving to here or there, but um, yeah, usually people move where there's jobs, and makes total sense. But sometimes where there's jobs, people sometimes can't afford to live really close to it. Like the prices for homes in the Seattle area, right? 7, 8, 900,000. So people have to drive a lot of windshield time to get to work, because even though the jobs are closer to the city, mostly, um, people can't afford to live there. So they got to drive to it. And oh, 1 year before leaving service. Oh, let me move myself. Can I move myself? Oops. There I am, right here. All right. 1 year before leaving service. Phase 2. Take care of you. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. All right. There it is. So brush up on your interview skills. So, so, and here it is, right? So um, when you go in an interview, you answer some of these questions. It shouldn't sound like it's the first time that that you're answering a interview question. Right? You should come out natural. Um, One of the things that, if I can remember the acronym STAR, STAR, the situation that you're in, the task that you were doing, the actions you took, and the results. So, in that if you follow that model or that path, that acronym, then you're gonna put the people, because most of the time, right? The people that are interviewing you, they don't know you. Sometimes they do, but most of the time, at least for me in my experience, I've never known them prior to working there. And so you have to make sure that you let them know what the role that you were in, the actions that you personally took, um, what you're tasked to do with, and then what were the results from your actions. All right, so you probably go to Grok or something or Chat GPT and then just ask, hey, what are the 50 most um, right, 50 questions from that interview is asked. So kind of get your mind right thinking like that. And I mean, one of the things that we're always taught to us in the military is we did this, right? Team oriented, great, got it. When you're out here on this side, stay away from that. It's me. I did this. I led this. I was a catalyst for this. I led the charge. I created this. I made a plan, right? And you don't want to come off like, a jerk or anything, but um, humility. But hey, and also, if you guys want to hear any of these like in depth, which I plan to do, to just give tips because I'm on job 8 in 8 years, so I know a thing or two about interviewing and getting foot in the door. Just man, again, humble is it's just a fact that I've been. Um, but I've submitted a whole bunch of. I've probably have submitted like 400 or 500 resumes. Which, bam, resume. So when you knock out a resume, there's if you want to do the GS, right, general schedule, I think government employee, right, if you want to do that, which I was before, um, then yeah, there's that special type of or resume type versus the private sector type, right? I know the government one is really they want like a lot of details and the dates and the positions you've held for every single position. But I've done both, and I've worked in the private sector, in the federal government, and local government. So right now I'm working for the local government, but really it, make sure that the language that you're using, that you're describing yourself, because this, hey, let's be honest, right? The job search is it's a little tougher right now, or the job searching is tougher. There's a lot more applicants, and you're only going to get maybe a couple minutes, if that, on your resume. That someone from HR is going to be like, okay, right? Make sure you have the qualifications and the skills that they're looking for, and the language that you use, right? LES, MRE, CPT, CYA, like all right. You just gotta just assume they don't know what those acronyms are, right? So make sure you spell it out. At least spell out what the acronym is the first time, and then just use the acronym later on. But make sure that you really describe in detail, supervised, you led, right? Things like that. Verb is it an adverb? Yeah, adverb. I do believe in your resume, and apply, and apply for employment. It goes, man. I'm not even. I'm not even trying to lie to kick it, right? There's like 500 applications I've probably put in the last 8 years, and I mean even me 8 years later, I'm still trying to figure it out, find a home. I mean, I was with the U.S. Or the National Forest for a little bit, and I thought that was going to be my forever job, and the whole thing with federal government, the employees and everything kind of they're a little different, right? I just didn't know if I was going to have a job, man. So I busted a move, right? So, deferred resignation program, DRP. But yeah, don't be discouraged, right? That many veterans have walked the path that you're about to walk or walking right now, including me. And yeah, it's you probably have to apply a lot. And when people say or organizations say we support veterans, okay, yeah. I'm not saying they don't, and I'm not saying they do. However, it's going to come down to what can I or what can you do for them? Can you do what they expect you to do or what they're looking for? Right? It's just they're just going to be like, oh my gosh, you're a veteran. Oh, awesome, you got the job. No, homeboy. You gotta make sure that um, you make yourself marketable and all those things. And one thing um, that I didn't add, or sorry, that I didn't um, mention was when I got out of the Marine Corps in '94, is that I didn't have very many skills. When I was an infantryman, I could shoot from very far. I ran 6 minute miles. uh, so I'm telling you that one of the things that I told myself when I got out in '94, and then I went into the Army in '96, and I'll get into that later in another episode. But I vowed myself or to myself is that never again will I not apply myself to be as marketable as I can, so I can get a job or make a career. Excuse me, not a job, career um, for me and my family, make a living. Because it was a terrible feeling, man. Like when I could not find a job for, I think it was like unemployed for like 6 months or so, and it was kind of tough. The economy in the mid '90s, it was kind of tough. Um, and then my son was born right after. I mean, so in the mid '90s as well. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Hold on, is there anything else here? Oh, damn, I'm about to leave one out. So okay, so maybe register for school. Before I thought I was wrapping this thing up. So register, enroll in school, and so it goes back to you choosing your career, education, and training. You could enroll in school. It doesn't take any money. You just gotta. I'm sorry, register. And you gotta just get accepted, right? You register, enroll, or whatever you want to call it. Apply for enrollment. Bam, that's what it is. Excuse me. Apply for enrollment, and then you get you get accepted into the school, and you're not obligated to pay for anything. Maybe the application fee, maybe I don't know. It's been a while since I tried to enroll in school. However, yeah, you can do that a year out. So all these things, right? If you want to see something more in depth, just let me know. But this is like a one take type thing, right? I'm not. I mean, I don't have a fancy studio. I'm in my basement, man. So, um, and you know what? I'm bringing it. Just this is raw, just helping you out. Um, and again, I'm an older cat, right? Gen X guy. So, in just the immortal words of Toby Keith, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was. Right, I'm right about there. So, you got any? Yeah, just just if you have anything that you want me to go into depth, or just give me some ideas on what to do. I'm sorry, topics for the show. Just let me know below. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and thank you for your service. Okay.